I say good morning and it's late, and I've been unfortunately working. I couldn't get to my breakfast. So I already did the cleanest water though, which is I'm carbon distilling it already. So it's already running because I already poured my water in. I already even did my hydrogen protocol. And so let's just go ahead and get on with the multi-nutrient smoothie because that's how I get, the funny thing about my smoothie is that's how I get a lot of stuff in me. As far as the amount of fiber, the amount of nutrients. It's like I wanted to make it easy, right? I wanted to make my life easy as far as getting healthy, because otherwise it just gets too complicated. Too many supplements, too much stuff. It's just such a pain in the rear. And so yes, let's make it easy here. So the first thing I add my purium powder because everything is food in it and it's full of nutrients. And it's not even intended to be a multivitamin. That's how I've been using it. I've been getting my blood work regularly, and it's working extremely well. So, and it's super clean. When I say clean, I do not want any pesticides. I don't want even any heavy metals. There's a lot of heavy metals in certain products I've noticed. By the way, raw cacao, all organic, good for a lot of things, but the one that seems to be very unique and interesting. But see, this is the thing about stuff like this, it's like natural food. There's still things that we have more to learn. And raw cacao, I believe, more recently, they discovered that it appears to affect your stem cells in a very positive way in the body. So, hey, put it in there. And all these things are just food. So I'm not putting there's no additives, there's no sugars, there's no special coloring. And everything's always as clean as possible, guys. Always as clean as possible. No pesticides. That's why I went with Purium, actually. There's another product that I'll use once in a while, only if I'm out of my Purium, actually. And that particular product is what I used to use. It was a Garden of Life product. But the thing is that I saw some lab testing and it wasn't as clean. And then once I tried it, I also have one thing that I don't talk about a lot on my channel, and I don't know if I should or not, but I guess I'm going to mention it to you guys since people have been watching the channel. You know what? I'll take this off. I should probably grab my handy dandy apron. Is that I just have ever since, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have my theories, and maybe you guys, you know what? Maybe you guys can comment and tell me what you think is going on. But all I can tell you is there's been a lot of changes that I've made in my life as far as it's all been literally just trying to purify. When I was really my goal was I was just trying to purify my body, thinking that maybe if I pulled out chemicals and put all the right things in it and all this stuff, that it would help me heal. I mean, and by the way, I should tell you guys, I'm not going to be, this entire video, I'm not giving you medical advice and I'm not making any medical claims. I'm simply sharing with you guys what I did, what I went through, my own experiences, what I personally think. Because am I saying that everybody should do what I do? No, I'm not saying that. You guys are adults, I would think, and people can make up their own decisions and whatever. But what I can tell you that happened to me, and Jazzy Banana says, hello, hey, Jazz Banana. That's a very interesting name. And so what's happened to me, I was never a health guru, just so you know. I was never into health. I didn't even, it wasn't a thing that I thought about. It wasn't a thing that was important to me. I wasn't studying to be a doctor or anything. I didn't care about that kind of thing. And of course, when you're young, you know how sometimes that's probably not the first thing on your mind is how to stay healthy. Those are things typically, in my personal opinion, should probably be taught to us by adults and explain to us the importance of how we treat our bodies and why and everything else. Now, so again, what ended up happening was something that I would think is very strange, and I don't think I've really talked about it a lot on my channel. I'm going to kind of open up to you guys a little bit here, maybe. I'm thinking about it. So basically, since I've been doing this, I just get really weird intuitive things that have been happening. And I don't, like I said, I don't talk about it because I'm more of a facts guy as far as health stuff. Like, oh, look, we discovered that, hydrogen's good for you. Oh, okay, cool. What is it good for? And so I'm usually a big data guy. Now, am I against gut instincts? Absolutely not. I'm for gut instincts, but I also like to one thing that I like to do is I don't like to rely on just one source. So I need to double, triple, quadruple check, and it has to make sense. You can't just have, I've seen some studies. I'm not going to throw this company under the bus because there is a company that sells a product and they supposedly have data. And I honestly think that their data is kind of lousy and there's really not a lot of it. In fact, there's almost none. I think they just have like one study and it was, in my opinion, it can't be right. And I tried their product and I actually definitely did not like it. But anyway, I won't go into what that is. The point is that since I've been doing this, somehow I just have, dare I say, extremely strong intuition. And sometimes I just know things that I probably shouldn't. I mean, they're in no textbook. Nobody talks about it. And so yeah, it's really affected, the way that I go about doing some things. And that's how I've actually helped myself figure out not only a lot of protocols, because what happens is I'll get the instinct, and then what I'll do is I'll go looking for data. And I'll be like, oh, is there any data to support this? And what shocks me is, dare I say, I would say well over 90% of the time, almost every single time, I do find stuff, and I'm like, I get really shocked, and so it's been almost. I would never use the word like psychic or anything weird like that, but it has been kind of odd, I must say, because when it first happened, I was like, oh, okay. Second time, I was like, oh, all right, and then I would start applying some of these techniques, and I would do more research, and then as time went on more and more, it's like, okay, and in fact, this is very recent. I've finally started to maybe have it to accept the fact that it's like, okay, okay, got good intuition, I guess, but maybe it's just coincidence. But why did it happen now? But who knows? And you know what? I hate to say it, but technically, who cares? Because the thing that really matters is not whether you have intuition or not, but where that leads. Does it lead to finding things that do improve your health? Does it lead to new data? And that's ultimately what's going on in my particular case. But sometimes I do get intuition about, this is pretty wild, because I get people who contact me, and I probably shouldn't. Oh man, if I say this, I'm almost afraid people are going to be contacting me too much. It's like I get people who contact me, and I can feel what the issue most likely is, like what it is that they're doing. But sometimes people tell me, no, I'm not doing that. And I've people locally, like friends, they'll be like, oh no, I don't do this, and I eat healthy. And then when I hang out with them for the day or we're doing something, I start seeing all their bad habits. I'm like, wait a second, you said that you don't, drink soda pop, and here you're drinking a soda. And it's like, well, I mean, like once a day or twice a day, it's not a big deal. I pretty much don't drink it. I'm like, no, that's not pretty much not drinking it. You're definitely drinking it, which is fine. I'm not trying to judge you, but you're having these medical issues, and then you're wondering why, this is happening. And that's happened a lot, a lot. I don't know if people are in denial, if they think that hiding it is going to help the case, because I don't care. I'm not trying to judge people for the things they do. That's not the point. But what I am trying to do is if somebody says, hey, I'm sick and I want to get better, and they need to figure out what the heck they're doing wrong, and then they're in denial that, I mean, I've known people who are like, oh, yeah, there's no way that, me eating pizza every day is really the problem. Or there's no way that, like just lots of stuff like that. There was one guy who was, he had a weight problem. And he's like, I just don't understand why I can't lose weight. And I pretty much figured it out. And then once I told him, he was, well, almost like in denial. He's like, no way, that's not what it is. I'm like, dude, it's literally clear as day. Like, this is obviously what's causing it. It's like, I don't know why and I don't like to argue with people. So I'm just like, you know what? Believe whatever you want to believe, but don't ask me for help if you're not willing to be as honest as possible, because it's not about being honest with me. It's about being honest with yourself. Okay, there's some hydrogen raisins in there. Yada, yada, yada. Mary says, hello, Mary Claire. And I'm going to put walnuts. So the raisins have probably the highest natural boron that in any food from what I can find. Boron being extremely good for muscles, ligaments, brain health, bones, and sex hormones. So literally, and by the way, you notice that I'm soaking these in water. Definitely do it in super clean water. And if you have access to hydrogen water, in my personal opinion, hydrogen water will enhance these things. Now, this is going to be kind of exciting. I have and I soak them in water because this is one of the keys, one of the secrets that I would say no health person out there really talks about, I guess. There's a lot of stuff that I'm the only guy who talks about stuff, but what's starting to get to me, it's funny, some of my people who know me and a lot of my viewers are like, this guy started repeating everything that you say. Like I am finding, and I've been finding it throughout the years, that somehow these people who have, because I don't have a big channel because most likely because I don't have like I don't have any financial backing really. So I don't have a computer guy that helps me, and I don't know how to do all this computer stuff, to be honest. And they take all these things that I come up with, and then they basically steal my ideas. And this is a big one. I mean, this one right here where I'm soaking food in water, it's a big deal, guys, because it has to do, by the way, I'm going to make some hydrogen, wow, raisins for tomorrow. And I got to say, I'm out. That was the last of that. If you guys want to see how I make hydrogen raisins, I can show you. I just dropped one on the ground and I hate to waste food. So I'm going to have to wash it. Because organic sun-dried raisins, and it's just one, but hey, I don't like to waste things. So, okay, if you guys see how I make hydrogen raisins, it's pretty simple. Let's go over here to my little water station. I got my hydrogen water all made, and I would not recommend this, and this is important because I would not do this with certain hydrogen equipment at all. So this is specific to the equipment. Just like the same thing goes for like certain things that you do with water, like I actually just put some water in my eyes. I don't know what happened. I think I got something in my eye yesterday, and it looks like I have a little infection going on. And I was going to put some colloidal silver in my eye, which a friend of mine makes, but I wouldn't do it unless it was made with distilled water. There's too many things that when you put them in your eyes, put them in your sinuses, the water, I've known people, they're like, oh, I'll just use filtered water. Well, some guy just recently died because he got a parasite into his brain like that. And that's what I mean. You can't just use any water. And it's the same thing with hydrogen machines. You want to do certain things the right way, otherwise it could cause problems. And these are organic berries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, berries, goji berries. Berries are amazing, guys. This one's good for your vascular health. It's good for your heart. Show me anti-cancerous, anti-angiogenic. The list goes on and on. Fruits and vegetables are amazing. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, I am missing the magic ingredient. I'm so silly. I keep on doing this, and I need to stop doing this. Somehow I keep forgetting because it's in the wrong drawer. It's out of my rhythm. And that's putting in some of these guys. See, these are supposed to go in at the beginning. Flax seeds have so many interesting properties to them. Yes, they've been shown to be anti-cancerous. Yes, they have a really good amount of fiber, but they have some nutrients in here that are just off the charts. They even compared them to like the nutrients in like beef, and it blew beef away. It blew all meat away. And I can't remember the name of what they are. There's so much stuff to learn, and what I typically just try to learn. And by the way, I'm gonna put some hydrogen water in here. I guess I'll show you guys. I don't like moving the camera around a lot, but so we just put a little bit as we go. So I'm gonna fill it up to, if you guys can see, up to about right. See, this is why you do it first, because otherwise the water won't go through. Yep, right to about right there. And I do that so that it'll blend better, but I also put the hydrogen water in there because there is some preliminary data. I'm not making any medical claims or anything, but some preliminary data that it soaks into the fruits and vegetables. Okay. You know what? I knew I was missing an ingredient. That's the other thing. Like I said, my intuition's so strong these days. Like, my brain doesn't catch up sometimes. I mean, I know it's like, yeah, I know you're missing something. Like, what am I missing? I'm sure everybody has that, but mine has just been getting stronger and stronger as more time is going by. And you know what? I am realizing I am. Oh no. Well, it's not up here, which means I'm going to have to go downstairs. My apologies, guys. I'm sure you know I'm taking the camera to 3 flights of stairs, but I think what I'm missing is it's a very special ingredient. For one, I gotta say, I am noticing a lot of people who attempt to go vegetarian, and I've seen them. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, guys. It's looking like I did not defrost any. That is not good. I'm looking for my natto. Oh no, I only have two left. Wow. Okay, somebody's going grocery shopping. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, whatever it is. And they're frozen. You know what that means, guys? It means that I can't use them today. So disappointing. I really thought I had some. I always try to rotate everything properly. Oh, and something down here. I might as well grab some bananas. So my natto's not defrosted. Wait. Oh, don't be a baby. But natto just has so many amazing nutrients. Maybe I'll defrost it and have it for dinner today. I like to at least get one packet in me every day. So yes, quote unquote, I mean, a lot to learn about health, but to be honest, I've done my best to make it simple. So here's my natto. I've done my best to try to make it simple. And to be quite honest, I think I have. I think I've achieved it. I've been able to do this very simply. And the protocol is really, first of all, just clean your water. I mean, you know, it's funny. People keep sending me stuff. I find it hilarious because everything that's being sent to me is, I hate to say that I already know, but yes, I already know it. But sending me this stuff where all these doctors are preaching a lot of the same stuff, including my own mother. My mother's like, oh my gosh, these guys are saying everything that you say. And I'm like, but you've been saying it for years. I'm like, yeah, I know. But they do not seem to understand water. They talk about the science of food and diet and everything, whatever, but they do not talk about water. And it's so interesting to me because me personally, I just saw these scans. Oh, I'm so tempted to try, but I know these things are frozen. It just won't work, by the way, when they're frozen. So there it is. We'll go without it today, guys. And these guys don't seem to understand the importance of water. And I just saw some scans, by the way. This is going to shock you guys, for those of you who are interested in new data. So do you think, okay, comment below before I answer. Do you think that what you eat affects your intelligence? Or do you think that people of a certain IQ specifically to choose to eat certain foods? I'll tell you. Now, before I answer the question, you guys go ahead and put your answers there because remember, I'm a data guy. I shouldn't even say this already because I feel like I'm going to give it away. I'll just say that I was shocked at the information. And by the way, I'm going to use these beet leaves because apparently not only they have a lot of wonderful properties to them, but apparently they even have vitamin D. And you know how much I like to get everything from food, and vitamin D is almost borderline impossible to get out. Just can't get enough from your food. And so, and plus these beet leaves, see, this is another part, my instinct. I was like, you know what? I just know that they're good for me somehow. And then, of course, did research, and there's some very amazing attributes to them. And so I'm going to use them. I don't like to just throw them away, discard them. To me, they're magical. And I really mean magical. The human body in general is magical. Planet Earth is magical, guys. I mean, the way mountains work with the water, the hydrologic system, I mean, it's just too amazing. That's the problem. It's just too amazing. It literally is like magic. So things that humans definitely can't create, let alone even understand. There's a lot of things that we still don't understand. For example, we haven't even identified all the gut bacteria in our own gut. Here we're trying to go to different planets. We haven't even identified our own gut bacteria. Can you believe that? We've identified some of it, but not even close to all of it. The human body is an amazing masterpiece that we definitely do not understand. There's a lot of things we don't understand. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Sometimes we just have to simplify things a little bit just so that we can just get good health, if that's just what we want, you know. Okay, let's see here. Terry C says, you're a healer with intuition. Thank you. The purity of the food you eat helps your intuition stay clear. It does actually seem to be the case. what Terry C said. And Terry C, the intelligence is a factor. The higher, the more likely to eat healthy. Well, okay, but I'm talking about scientific data, like actual scientific evidence. So apparently nobody's answered the question. So I guess I'll just go into it. Because I just got to see some brain scans, by the way. So I was able to see some brain scans of people with different diets, same age, blah, 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 same sex, different type of diet. And I got to learn a little bit about how to read some of these brain scans. And apparently some of the top neuroscientists in the world, like literally the most intelligent ones, they are literally all eating, dare I say, basically the way that I do, which is basically a vegetarian lifestyle. Now, I'm not against meat. I'm not against seafood. In fact, I had a cheat day yesterday and for some reason, I'd been craving crab. And so I ended up having a little bit, not a ton, but I had a little bit of crab. It was quite delicious, I must say. I really enjoyed it. And I just think it's the portions and how often we eat these foods. But apparently these smartest neuroscientists in the world, they're all, not just some of them, apparently they were all vegetarian, at least at this particular conference that was talking about brain health and whatever else. And then there was apparently a connection, and it appears, and I was kind of shocked about this, but yes, it does, apparently what you eat is affected by your food. You know, food is a part of the way that the brain functions at its best. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't eat meat and be smart. That's not what I'm saying. But I found it odd. I found it actually quite odd that some of the smartest people eat that way, especially brain people, people who look at scans, people who study the brain. And so I thought it was interesting. So I'm just sharing it with you guys. And like I said, I find it kind of interesting. But see, to me, the part that like I feel like nobody really talks about this enough. And I feel like I already know. I already know the answer. And it's really all about the blood. And you have to understand that if whatever you eat pretty much goes in your blood, right? Like you eat a Twinkie, boom, you're going to get a sugar spike. You eat a ton of meat, you're going to have what's called undigested proteins floating through your blood. I mean, the heme iron, you're going to have different things. So it really does matter, in my personal opinion. And well, it's not just my personal opinion, it's my personal experience. I mean, I was not just sick. I mean, I was done. I couldn't even live my life. When you can't walk and you can't even lift a remote control, like when somebody in a wheelchair, because I used to see people in a wheelchair who could wheel themselves around. I mean, I couldn't even wheel myself around because my wrists, my shoulder, like my joints hurt so bad. I just couldn't wheel myself around. Here I'm cleaning the knife and I kind of forgot I'm going to chop this one up. Could have used the scissors, but I got all this here. I'm just going to do this. So it's really about the blood, not just being clean, but also the way it moves and then everything that it's carrying in the blood, which is why I like to put all the minerals and the nutrients and the fiber. Again, something that people don't talk about enough, but the data is already out there. In fact, I was going to do a video because I've been checking out ChatGTP, the AI thing, to see how smart it is, to see if it's accurate. And I got to say, I'm when it comes to certain topics, not all topics, but when it comes to certain topics, I got to say I'm pretty impressed. I asked ChatGTP a lot about hydrogen questions, and it knew its stuff. It was quite accurate. So I was thinking about making a video if that's something that would interest the viewers, because you get to learn a lot. And a lot of it, honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn again, but everything that it was saying is everything that I've been saying. In fact, somebody contacted me who gave me the idea. It's one of my viewers. He's like, I listen to you, Hydrogen Man, and I thought that you were right for the longest time, but I always have to be open to the fact that maybe you're not right about some things. And he's a computer guy, and he's like, so I went to ChatGTP, and he's like, I'm even more impressed by everything you've been saying because you're the only guy talking about certain things, and there is clear evidence. And ChatGTP scours the internet for research, and it's literally like it's like you talking. Like all the information that you give is actually extremely accurate. And he said, and you might want to check it out. And so I thought, see, I didn't even want to check out ChatGTP for many reasons, but I thought, all right, I'm always trying to be open-minded. So I was like, okay, because I just thought ChatGTP would not know a lot of the stuff that I know when it comes to hydrogen. But sure enough, it was accurate, and I was again quite impressed. And it talked about the dangers of making hydrogen incorrectly, and it talked about impurities, like all the stuff I've been talking about. Um, it touched on subjects in regards to Brown's gas, and it was very accurate on that, basically saying there's no evidence, and that there's concerns for impurities and chemicals. I mean, everything that I've been saying, I was again very impressed and surprised actually. And so yeah, so it's going to be fun if you guys want a video like that, and maybe I could even do one on the. I can show some of those brain scans if you guys really want to see. But to be honest with you guys, I tend to try to stay away from talk about. I've noticed that this is a huge thing that everybody argues about. You know what? It should be like they always say don't talk about religion or politics. They're going to have to include food in there. Not talking about food and what's healthy or not, because man, everybody argues. Everybody's like, no, it's the paleo diet. No, it's the keto diet. No, it's the vegetarian diet. No, it's the vegan diet. No, it's the raw foodist diet. No, it's the fruitarian diet. No. And I mean, everybody argues about what's the right way. And what's funny to me is, if I'm really quite honest with you guys, I actually think the answer is really simple. I'm actually so surprised at how many people are arguing about it and how many people disagree about it, because I really think that the answers are extremely simple. Like, it shouldn't be this big of an argument. I'm starting to I don't want to question people's intelligence, because there are smart people who believe in certain diets. I mean, I have multiple friends that are doctors, and some of them just shock me, because some of them just say, dude, it doesn't even matter what you eat. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, now that was a few years back. So now that I have some scans and proof, I wonder if he's changed his tune, that particular friend. But it's just wild to me. It really is wild that people would think that what you put in your body, some people, to think that it doesn't matter. No, it clearly matters. I mean, heck, you can feel it. That's the thing. I mean, I could feel it. I got a pimple because I had yesterday. I went out and had a cheat day, and it was a pretty clean eating restaurant. But I didn't order it. Somebody else I was with ordered it, and it was a tomato. There was tomatoes, and I guess I didn't realize that the tomato had been kind of sautéed a little bit. I guess there's some oil on it, and I don't eat heated oils, and I don't cook with oils. Again, it was mostly because of instinct, and this was a long time, because I break out with acne. And now there's data. Seed oils, really not good for you. I mean, it's quite bad. And, maybe my body's just super sensitive, whatever it is. I had that. And what did I have? I had a little, just like a little tiny taste. What was it? It was something on that same plate that had some heated oils. And sure enough, I got my pimple on my head, and I got something in my eye. You know what? It might not even be an eye infection. It actually might be a pimple. And I thought it was a pimple because it's like this kind of red dot on the corner of my eye. And I don't think it's actually an infection. I just kind of ran into that assumption, but I was thinking, did I get something? Like sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever get like a little piece of dust in your eye at nighttime, or you touch your eye and you get something in there. But actually, I think it's a pimple. It feels like a pimple. And my body is so extremely sensitive to, it's been sensitive for a very long time to oils, heated oils especially, obviously. And so that's why everything that I do, I try to have it very like clean, like steamed and fermented foods, raw foods, and just not cooking with the oils. And what's interesting about that is, again, there's clear evidence now. We know it's our carcinogenic. We know carcinogens lead to disease, especially like cancer. And so for me, it's not that I don't like those foods. By the way, I love fried food, which is why yesterday I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have one bite. I'm just gonna have one bite. It's not gonna be a big deal. And here's my hydrogen chia seeds, lots of protein in them, calcium, fiber, basically a lot of other minerals, omegas, and they're cheap. If you notice, I try to get stuff that's affordable and inexpensive, and I soak them in water. Part of the secret to life, secret to health, in my personal opinion. Notice that everything in this blender basically has water in it. Let's see here. Jazz says, just seen the nutrition facts video about lutein, kale, and stuff, so definitely gonna focus on that. And Terry says, yes, like I said, your protocols has made you like a finely tuned machine. You have access to the data that's in the conscious field. You know, it's just, what's funny these days to me is that it just feels so simple. That's why when I hear arguments about it, I just don't even want to get involved. You know, I just like, you know what? You know, if you know the answer to something and somebody's trying to argue with you, telling you that the answer is something else, but you already know what it is, you know, and not only like know from reading data, but know because you lived it, it's what saved your life. It's like, and makes you feel so much better, and my skin looks better than it's ever looked. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, what are we arguing about here? I don't, you know what I mean? It's like people, it's like somebody trying to tell me the cars don't pollute. I know cars pollute. I'm a car guy. I know the toxic gases the cars make. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that I'm against cars. I actually like cars. I'm a car nut. But that doesn't change the fact, you know, doesn't change the fact that they pollute. You know, just facts. And somebody who keeps trying to tell me that they don't, it's like, I don't even, I feel like this is a waste of breath here. I like to touch on things. One thing is I like to be very productive. And what I mean by productive, you know, I mean productive with my day, but really productive with my health too. That's why if I'm going to put effort, think about this, guys. I don't know about you guys, but look, if I'm going to put effort to go to work, for example, make money, and then you're going to spend that money, whatever you decide to spend that money on, to me, it matters because let's say you go spend the money on Twinkies. Okay, well, for one, you're supporting the Twinkie company, a company that's probably using high corn fructose corn syrup. It's using a bunch of garbage and probably just, I'm not going to go as far as saying poisoning your body, but let's just say that it's just not going to be really, really good for you, right? Okay, so I'm supporting them by buying that product, but I'm also wasting a part of my life. And it's almost like wasting it in two ways. One, I wasted my life working to earn that dollar, and then waste my life more by spending that dollar that I worked hard to get on a Twinkie that's also going to short my life. Now, granted, what people might say, and I kind of get it, it's like, yes, but I enjoyed the Twinkie, right? I ate it, I enjoyed it. It's like, yeah, okay, so you enjoyed it for 20 seconds or whatever, and people will be like, yeah, it was worth it. It was worth the price. And you know, I understand that. I'm not judging. In fact, I did that yesterday, right? I went out, I went to a restaurant, and I had a bite of octopus. Did I have a bite? Yeah, just a very small bite. And it was delicious. You know, I had crab. You know, I had a few things that, I mean, is it the end of the world that I ate those? No. But the stir fried, not deep fried or anything, but it was kind of like pan fried octopus. And I did not think that a tiny, tiny amount would affect me, but I guess it did. Um, let's see here. Let's keep going. And so, you know, I just like to spend my time wisely and do things that are good for me. And I know that it's tough. I know that everybody has their addictions, and believe me, I get it. It's not like I'm not human. I'm totally human. I totally get it. The thing for me that is probably different than most is all I have to do is remind myself, hey, do you remember how much pain you were in? Do you remember how that affected your life? Do you remember how that made you feel, not just physically, but even psychologically? Is it worth it? You know, and that's what keeps me oftentimes on the straight and narrow. It's actually, you know what's funny? It's actually a form of love. And I really mean that. I feel like a form of love for myself, a level of respect for myself. And it's like, come on, dude, step it up here, love yourself, do the right thing, you know. And so, you know, and I find not only living my life like that is better, but I also find it's just better in every which way. It may not be the easiest way. It reminds me of a little verse in scripture that says about the narrow gate, the wide gate. The wide gate is the path to death, and many shall walk it. And it's the easy path, you know, but the path to life is the narrow gate. And it's a difficult path. And few shall not walk it, but it says few shall find it. So, I mean, I don't think it's a easy thing to find either. That's a whole other conversation. That gets a little more spiritual stuff. And if any of you guys know, I tend to try to stay away from those topics because, again, we don't want to talk about religion. And by the way, I'm not talking about religion, but anyway, but still, people assume that, right? So religion, politics, and diet. Those are going to be the three things that we dare not talk about. You know, I actually, to be honest, I have no problems talking about it. Like if somebody wants to talk about it, doesn't bother me one bit. But, you know, I don't get mad. Like some people get really upset. Like, no, oh my God, you like this politician or you don't like this politician? Oh my God. You know, everybody gets all crazy, right? And it's kind of like, you know, like somebody recently I was talking to, I won't name names, but this person was saying, hey, you know, you're going to talk to such and such person, just, you know, maybe watch out, you know. And I was thinking, watch out, why? Well, because if they disagree with some of this stuff, this person can be, you know, let's just say potentially, what's the word I'm looking for? Opinionated. And it's like, I'm not going to get mad. And I'm not going to like flip out or anything of the sort. And if anything, that right there is a telltale sign, you know? It's like if you can't have a conversation, like an educated conversation, you know, and not get mad about things, you can always agree to disagree, guys. And you know what? I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with agreeing to disagree. You know, there's no problem with that. Let's just have an open conversation because to me, what I'm always looking for, and I've been like this for a long time actually, I'm just looking for the truth, which is why I tend to be not biased. I'm not biased. I don't try to make a square peg fit in a round hole. I'm like, no, just give me the facts, give me the data, you know, whatever. Okay, last ingredient, guys. Well, it's not the last ingredient. This is the last piece of food, but we have some magical ingredient. I say magical because it really takes this smoothie to another level. Let's add some of these magical ingredients, and they have a lot to do with, when I say magical, I mean magical really. Yes, they're magical in of themselves, but magical what they do to the human body. I'm going to go ahead and add more hydrogen water, but magical to the body because that's the whole point that we're making this. The whole point of this smoothie is because we want to get our nutrients. We want to have good health. We want our bowels to move. We want to get that fiber in there. We want to get, well, minerals, which is what I'm about to grab. I'm about to add some minerals where they eliminate pretty much all the salt, which is a good thing if you look at data. This surprises me. I see doctors talk about things like there's supposedly some doctors who are like, hey, salt's good for you. It's like, that's a little shocking to me because there's clear evidence about strokes, hardening of arteries, yada, 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 not good for your heart. Okay, we're going to start the blender. It's going to be noisy. For that, I apologize. I'm going to take out the compost, and then I'll show you the last magical ingredients to really make this the best for our human body. You can watch it blend. There it goes. There it goes. Nice and steady. Okay, I'll be right back. And if you don't have hydrogen water, by the way, you can always just put clean water in the smoothie. You know, it all depends how far you want to go for your health. I originally didn't want to go super far for my health, but then I was forced to. And what I will say is, once I start having those weird magical feelings, because that is something that happened to me, then I just had to. Oh boy, that's a good blender. Whoa. You can do it. Let's stop and see. Okay, let's get these magical ingredients, shall we? Magic. Do you believe in magic? I do. I think you do. Okay. Come on, Brandon. I know you can do it. You can do it. And meanwhile, let's grab some jars. And what I'm going to do with these jars is put a little bit of hydrogen water in here. And if you don't have access to hydrogen water, you probably don't need to do this part. You can put a little clean water if you want, but I'm going to go with a little bit of hydrogen water. And I already loaded up on it. So empty stomach, loaded up on the right type of hydrogen, super clean, no chemicals, no lye, no chemical reactions like pills or none of this stuff. I'm talking pure, super clean hydrogen. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time, make sure it's all chopped up. Oh, yeah, it's still, I can feel it. I can feel it, it's still blending, it's still chopping stuff up. Now, while it does that, I'm gonna grab a very magical ingredient that I love putting in there. Again, one of the most well-balanced proteins in the world, filled with so many different nutrients and minerals. It's almost like a multivitamin, just this one ingredient. It's totally crazy. And it comes from a plant that used to be illegal, and actually still is illegal in many places in the world. There we go. Come on. We're almost done. Okay, that should be pretty close. And we're going to go with this ingredient first. Okay, let's just try. If it comes out chunky, then we'll have to throw it back in the blender. Here we go. Let's hope this thing doesn't spill everywhere. But then again, that's why I have my apron on, right? But it doesn't block everything. Okay, let's see here. Smooth, creamy. Consistency looks good. It looks quite delicious. Notice I have to pour slowly because if you go too fast, they'll spill on the sides of the pitcher. And by the way, I'm about to get a new blender and I'm super excited because it's supposed to be arriving today. Hey, today. Yep, I am excited because it's one of those vacuum blenders. Ooh, that tastes good today. Wow. Okay, this ingredient is super important. Best in your food. You're not going to really get it in your food, even in this special ingredient. Let me see. I bet you it's not in here. Yep, zero. You just don't get it from food. There's some foods, but you're not going to be able to eat enough, and that is D3 with K2. But ionic, I get it in its ionic form. Why ionic? Well, it's the second best way from at least the research I've done. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's supposed to be 7,000 IUs, but to be honest, I don't know if I believe that. But it says it is, so hopefully it is. And then these next ingredients, this one's pretty much empty. Ionic boron. This one I absolutely love, and yet, yep, it's empty. Okay, why did I grab that? Then I'll have to use that bottle for something else. Here, I was shaking it. There was nothing in there. You silly goose. I am a silly goose. Okay, this one's ionic chlorophyll. Now, this one I wouldn't ordinarily buy, not because it's not good. You get a lot of chlorophyll from your plants, your greens. It's not an absolute nutrient that I have to have, but this was sent to me, and so I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'm always open-minded. I've tried a lot of stuff, by the way. I only share the best with you guys. I don't share the stuff that doesn't work. And sometimes some companies get mad at me because they'll send me something, and if I give an honest review, which happened with a hydrogen machine in the past, they just flipped out, and you know, I'm like, hey, I told you from the beginning I was actually going to give an honest review. Oh, you're going to love it. Like, did not love it. Not into the chemicals. It made me sick, actually. And I don't like Brown's gas with chemicals. So that's ultimately what ended up happening. Okay, so this one, I'm not even going to vacuum seal it because I'm going to give that to somebody today. And then somebody's getting lucky, huh? And then this one, we're going to add the hemp hearts. Now, like I said, this comes from the marijuana plant or the hemp plant, whatever you want to call it. And the nutrition in this thing is amazing, and it tastes amazing. One of my viewers were saying they didn't like it when they first tried it, and now they just love it. And I told you, some of these things are an acquired taste. And what people don't realize is that your taste and your taste buds and your acquired tastes have to do with your gut. And when you eat certain things, it feeds specific gut bacteria. And it just all happens like that. So in time, you get used to it and you'll like it. Now, there's only one last ingredient. And then what I'll do is I'll sit down with you guys, read some of your comments, answer some of your questions. You got me for free right here, right now. And that's what we're going to do. So, give me 1 second. I am going to take out this earpiece today. So you let me know if you can hear me. Let's go.
Let's go. Do you believe in magic? Because I think you do. You know, when you're a kid, you do, right? You believe in magic. And sometimes people get older, but I'll tell you why I believe in it. Because I've seen it. Once you see it, well, at that point, it's pretty much hard not to believe in it. And I'm not talking like magic like a disappearing trick either. I'm talking like the good stuff. The real magic. You could even call it science, but science is just observing the magic. Okay, here we go. Let's read your stuff here. The last ingredient, by the way, is hydrogen. While I eat, in fact, let me get a sip of this. That's good. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Somebody made a comment about lutein. Yummy. So lutein, somebody commented about that. Basically, there's a body of evidence basically, shows several benefits, but especially for eye health. In fact, it is known that it can improve or even prevent age-related macular disease. That's a big one. I've gotten a lot of emails throughout the years for macular degeneration and my protocols. I was shocked. I did not expect it to work for macular degeneration. I did not. I mean, that's supposed to be incurable, and I'm never going to use that word cure. All I can tell you is I've had viewers who contact me who follow my protocol, and they are telling me that they started testing negative for macular degeneration when they actually had it. So that's pretty wild. Okay. Let's see here. Howie says, your opinion on iodine, please. So iodine, here's my big thing. I use povidone iodine in certain ways, but there's iodine in certain foods. And again, remember, I want to get it all from food, and that's something that I believe we can get from food. In fact, let me show you. Do you believe in magic? Because I think you do. Yeah, see, I don't believe what I don't believe in. Now, this is counterintuitive, right? Because normally a YouTuber who talks about health will believe in tons of products and wants you to buy everything under the sun because it makes them more money, right? And, I understand, but that's not me. I only show you guys what I personally do, right? I'm not going to promote 100 or 200 or 500 products. Now, this particular product I'm a huge fan of. The Power Shake is just food, but this is where it gets interesting. Let's look here. Let's see if I'm right, actually. Here's all the nutrients. And then, of course, it's just organic, clean food. One of the measurements of nutrients is iodine. Right there. It's in here already. That's why I use this, because this is like a multivitamin from food. In fact, let's do this. It's a good question. Let's go into this just quickly. Let's go into foods that have iodine. Well, one is seaweed. I eat seaweed all the time. Of course, there's foods that I won't eat that have iodine, like dairy. And I just think the milk is so contaminated these days, personally. Obviously shrimp, I won't eat shrimp either. I mean, will I ever once in a while, maybe, like I did at my cheat day? Yeah, I have cheat days. But I do not make it a regular habit. And that's the difference. Okay, let's see what else. Smoothie's good today. Okay. I won't go into why we need iodine unless you guys want to go into that. But it appears you can get it. I do eat a lot of green beans, asparagus, arugula. Let's see here. I do not supplement with it. I've had my blood work. I check for all deficiencies. I mean, they take a lot of blood out of me to check for everything that I want to be checked. And it's also found, interestingly enough, I almost wonder if it's in my minerals drops. I could go check because apparently it's found in seawater. And I know that they use seawater to extract these minerals oftentimes. Okay, let's see here. Wasn't thinking it had iodine. It's got boron, lithium, sulfate, magnesium, blah, blah, blah. I don't see any iodine on here. I'm actually kind of surprised, but I've noticed that some stuff, when you read the label, that they're supposed to have certain things in them. It won't say it on the label, but I will find that, like for example, certain nutrients in foods, they won't be on the nutritional label, but when you read about that food, it's in the food. So I don't see that they always have everything on nutritional labels. I don't know what the deal with that is. But let's see here. A lot of it has to do with, oh, you know what? I wonder if there's any iodine in diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth. I know it's rich in silica, but what I'm wondering is if there's any iodine in it. Come on. That's something that's really good for parasites, in my personal opinion. I mean, I've seen data, but still. Remember, everything's my opinion. I'm not giving you any facts today, or any other day. Promotes detoxification, digestion, okay. Iodine, okay. Maybe, it doesn't appear that it is. I'm not gonna do a huge dive into it right now. What I'm trying to find is lists of foods that have iodine. Here we go. Whole grains, green beans. I don't even know what a courgette is, but a courgette. Kale has it. I have kale often. Spring greens, I have that often. Watercress, I have that often. Strawberries, look at that. Strawberries, I was having strawberries almost every single day. I buy these organic frozen strawberries. Organic potatoes, I do love me some potatoes. I would oftentimes put in my salad. I even have videos where I put them in my smoothies, potatoes. But it depends on how much iodine was in the soil when growing these foods, so that really makes a difference. Let's see. But I've never been short on iodine, which is kind of interesting. Oh, it's probably because of the seaweed. I do eat seaweed quite often. In fact, I'll take seaweed and dump it in hummus. You know, get my beans and my seaweed. I did that instead of using crackers. I don't eat a lot of like bread and crackers. So kombu, I eat kombu. Nori, I eat nori. Arame, wakame, yeah, those are all different types of seaweed from Japan, and I actually eat a lot of that stuff. Not to mention that it's also high in other trace minerals, copper, magnesium, even protein, low in fat, yada, yada, yada. A lot of Asian cuisine. I like me some seaweed salad. That's pretty delicious too. So yeah, okay. But yeah, of course I think it's important to have your levels of iodine if that's what you're asking. Okay, let's see here. Where did we leave off here? My opinion on iodine. So yes, good, but I don't like to supplement it. I like to get it from my food. Terry says, you have what's called a high quality consciousness, not judging others. We will all get there in our own time. It's what we're all here for in my belief. Sorry to get spiritual. You're cool. Like I said, it doesn't bother me if you get spiritual, Terry. I just try not to do it because a lot of people, it's a turnoff for some people, you know, and I understand everybody's got their own beliefs. It's cool. Everybody, like you said, all in due time. No judgment is a big one. Yeah, I've worked since I was very little, and it just got easier. The more I could see the truth, it's easy. If I see somebody getting mad about their belief systems, it's like, dude, believe whatever you want. It doesn't bother me one bit. Why would I care, you know, about what you believe? I really don't. I wish you all the best, and I wish you seriously much happiness, because that is the ultimate goal. I want to be happy, and I find that the only things that lead to happiness are good things. Being good to others, being good to yourself. I mean, those are the things that lead to true happiness. Not the kind of happiness that comes from like, oh, I got a Ferrari and I'm screwing everybody because I'm selling them these garbage pills or something. And that's not happiness. In fact, that's bad karma. But anyway, bad juju or whatever you call it. Okay, no judgment. Okay, we can hear you. Thank you, Terry. Jazzy Banana says, curious on your stance on resistance weight training for longevity and health. I think resistance training is great. I think exercise and training is good. I just think that some people overdo it. And especially, like, I just saw a kid, what did he die of? He was either 21 or 31. I think he was 21. He was like one of these YouTubers or whatever, and he was all jacked, you know, and apparently he was taking steroids, the silly goose. And so people are like, oh my gosh, you look so healthy, you look so great, because he's muscular. And I just think, you know, I think it's a little silly. And I think overtraining is not the best thing either. I mean, there's actually clear data on that, by the way. Like, look at pro athletes that train so much. Their life expectancy is typically 10 years shorter than it would have ordinarily been. So, but no, I'm not against it at all. I think stretching, breathing, resistance training, walking, being out in nature, these are all things that are great for you. Okay, so yes, I think it's super important, Jazzy Banana. Terry C says, my cats love to eat seaweed. Well, that's interesting. In fact, there's these cats right now. Somebody I know is growing catnip, and every time I go there, the cat's literally laying in the catnip, like the plant. He's like laying on top of it and like sitting right next to it. Like it's treating it like it's its bed. It's so funny. Anyway, GK says, what blood tests do you take regularly? Well, I only do them I had done them multiple times a year for a while, and then I started doing them less and less. I mean, I probably do some really, really extensive blood work on average about once a year. But I tend to do other blood work here and there. But it's mostly testing, like I said, for deficiencies, look at my red and white blood cells, you know, make sure that everything is at the proper levels, inflammatory markers, mineral deficiencies, you know, stuff like that. I got pages of that. Howie says, how often do you use diatomaceous earth? On average, I like to do it once a year to once every 2 years to once every 3 years. I probably should do it more often, actually. It's really good stuff. They've done studies, and I read them, especially people who are either near animals, work with animals, live with animals. Let me tell you something, guys, my own personal opinion, but if you live with an animal in your house, especially cats, but also dogs, or you work on a farm with cows and chickens, or you have chickens, let me just tell you something, and this is a fact. I'm just gonna say it's my opinion, but these are the facts out there. I mean, heck, I could Google them. When they were testing people's fecal matter for parasites, they find that much higher levels of parasites. Then they did the study where they gave everybody diatomaceous earth. I think it was for like a month or something. It was a few years back, so I don't remember the exact number, but all their numbers went down quite dramatically. And I even found evidence about hydrogen keeping parasitic numbers down too. My lifestyle is very anti-parasitic because I have a personal belief system about it. And it's not just a belief system, it's my own personal experience. And I found that the clarity of the mind, even the instincts, the way you can even feel your own body, because parasites, and this is all scientific fact, they can actually manipulate the way that you feel. So you think you're feeling something, you think you're craving something, and it's not even actually you or even your body. It's these little critters who want to manipulate you. Here, give me one. second. Okay, guys, so yes, so diatomaceous earth in water, and hydrogen water would be even better. You can do it for 1 week, 2 weeks, you can do it for a month. I tried to do it for 3 months straight because that's the cycle of parasites, and I couldn't do it. I think I reached 2 months and your skin gets really dry, and it literally started hurting. And I was like, okay, I need to stop, and so I took a break from it. And so probably, you know, a month is a good number. And it's rich in silica and different things that are actually good for you. So it's not just killing parasites, it's even good for you. Courgette is a zucchini. Oh, thank you, Terry. You know, I do eat zucchini. Not like super crazy often, like every day, but actually regularly. Jazzy Banana says, great to hear, gonna just do it moderately. So, oh, exercise, you mean? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't go over 1 hour. You can do 30 minutes, like what I'm doing, which is not what I would recommend. I've been doing experiments on myself. I exercise for 5 minutes. I used to call it my 3-minute workout. Now it's my 5-minute workout. And when I say it's a workout, it's not much of a workout, okay? I used to work out a lot when I was younger. This is not much of a workout at all. It's an experiment on trying to see how little you can do to maintain, quote unquote, a certain level of muscle on your body so that it won't just wither away. So 5 minutes is like, to me, that's like almost nothing. And it's actually, I'm mostly doing it for testosterone levels too, to maintain them, because there's a secret on that I'm doing. And then I just go for walks. And my walks are not I'm not walking super hard and strenuous. I'm not walking for super long periods of time. I think I've timed myself. It's typically a 30-minute walk, but it should be more like a 1 hour walk. 1 hour is best. 30 minutes minimum. I think what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to figure out the way to do the absolute minimum, but still get the greatest results. Because not everybody has a lot of time in their day. So yeah, that's been my goal. Just like smoothies, hydrogen water, clean water, a walk, a little 3-5 minute, very light exercise. Okay, Love always says, looking to get money together and get the Void blender as well. I juice regularly, but I want to start doing your smoothies. You know, Love always, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna say that I'm against juicing. I've done it a lot. There's good minerals, there's good stuff, but after the data that's coming out on fiber, what a waste to throw all that fiber away. It is so magical for your body, and it's so much faster and easier to do smoothies. It fills you up. Juicing just doesn't seem sustainable. Massive amounts of produce, tiny little bit of liquid. It's not really gonna get you through the day. And I would probably be more concerned, you know, when they talk about all these oxalates, I don't concern myself with them because if I look at the amount you'd have to eat, I mean, you'd have to eat a lot, and plus hydrogen protects you from it. But the problem is with oxalates, if you're juicing a ton, I would almost assume there's going to be more because you're taking a massive amount of produce and just taking out the little liquid. I would think that maybe that might be a little more, I'm not going to say it's dangerous or hazardous, but, you know, more potential for having that issue. But again, you know, if you have your proper amounts of calcium and you ingest enough fluids for your body to flush everything that it needs to flush out, I personally think you'll be fine. So, my opinion. So yes, I am a smoothie man now. Jam-pack all that produce. And yes, the Void system looks so exciting. According to the tracking, I should be getting it today, I hope. But it is estimated. But I am very excited because if I get it today, tomorrow's smoothie will be a vacuum blend smoothie. And now as far as the data is concerned, here, I can show it to you guys. Let's see. It's actually quite amazing. Let's see. Let's see if I can find some of the data, because I already saw it already, to be honest. Basically what it shows is that vacuum blending appears to preserve more of the nutrients, which I think might be even better than juicing. That's another thing, right? And the antioxidants, the nutrients, everything is not being oxidized. So it's not being as degraded. And so even the flavors, which I'm not doing it for the flavor, because I already enjoy my smoothie, it tastes great. But I do have a feeling that it is gonna make my smoothie taste even better. So increased nutrition. It is said that the oxidation prevents smoothies from being as healthy as they could be. And they're already amazing. These are already amazing, guys. So this is just gonna take it to the next level because it appears to actually destroy precious antioxidants. They also say that they make the smoothies taste better, which is, again, kind of interesting. I didn't really care too much about that. But if it does make it taste better, hey, I'm all for it. The colors, I've noticed that the color difference and reducing separation, but the nutrients. So here's an interesting one. Exposing them to the air, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E become destroyed. So when you vacuum blend it, the issue is reduced. So that is, and then you also reduce foam. So a lot of the air that gets into the smoothies, apparently you get less bloating, less gassy. And yeah, so this is just super, super exciting. I'm so excited. Let's see here. I'm still seeing if there's any other data here for you guys. Do you believe in magic? I do, I do. Let's see, any other, that seems to be the data right there. So, okay, that's about it. All right, guys. Any other questions before I say goodbye? Let's see. Terry C says, I want to see the vacuum blender. That sounds cool. I know. I want to see it too in my kitchen. Okay, guys, any last questions, comments, criticisms? Any feedback is welcome. Even if you want to talk about spiritual stuff, but we should be, this is mostly dedicated for health stuff. Okay, Mary Claire says, I have a dog and a cat, and it was advised to take 1 teaspoon of diatomaceous earth in a glass of water at night for a week. 1 teaspoon? Okay, but that sounds like a little too little. I think if I remember correctly, I was using 1 heaping tablespoon, at least for 1 week. But there's a lot of different protocols out there, just so you know. And I think any of them are going to be good because you're ingesting diatomaceous earth. Though I would take it empty stomach, and yeah, I would probably do it at night because at night you go to bed on an empty stomach. Just take that at nighttime. But yeah, that sounds great to me. Dramore or Dramore says, I prefer carbon water. What is this Hydo? Hydo? I don't understand, Dramore. Carbon water, what is this Hydo? I don't. You're going to have to speak a little more coherent if you want me to reply. By the way, thanks for all the thumbs up. I mean, honestly, we have 22 people in here. I should have 22 thumbs up, right? Come on, guys. It's not a big deal. And you know, it's free. It just, you know, it's a small token of appreciation. What I will say is I'm actually going to grab some more smoothie because it is that good. Gonna give me some nutrients. Yes, I do. Make me want to think okay. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna finish this up here. Say goodbye to you guys. Oh, somebody gave a few thumbs up, see? That was only 3. We have 22 people in here. Come on. I mean, it's not gonna affect my ego or anything. It's just, I'm just surprised. Is it because people don't like the videos? Can you tell us about the new blender? Dude, I just did. But okay. So you can find it at a website called void-system.com. And it is a vacuum blender. And I'm gonna make the smoothies pretty much the same way. And it's just gonna suck the oxygen out of it before I blend them all up and oxidize everything. And that's pretty much it. And it helps increase antioxidants and nutrients. So maintain the antioxidants and nutrients within the food. Pretty much that simple, dude. Pretty awesome. Like I said, I can't wait for it to arrive. Okay. Tell us what the rainbow circle on your hand meant. Oh. Terry remembers that? Oh my goodness, Terry. Okay. Coupon code for the new blender. Coupon code is uprising144K. That's simple. It's only $20 off. They couldn't give much off. But it helps support the channel. I think they give me, I don't know, I think it's like 20 bucks, maybe 18, something like that. It's not a ton, but it helps support the channel because if I can ever make this channel support doing the channel, that would be really great. Then I don't have to go do my normal work. Okay, Dramor says, how do you keep your sex drive high, Bron? Well, it's a lot of factors. I mean, one, you have to make sure that, you know, it doesn't help to be overweight. Overcoming all nutritional deficiencies. Doing a little bit of exercise at least, or more than a little bit, you know. Legs are going to be your most important body part to exercise for maintaining good sex hormones. And that goes for both men and women. And good sleeping hours, stuff like that. But yes, boron is a quite important ingredient in all that. Actually, hydrogen water is really important for that. They use it in Japan for fertility clinics because of the way that it moves the blood and the way it appears to help oxygenate the blood and the way, so many things. I mean, the list is extremely long. Hydrogen is definitely another part of that. So all those things working together. And it hasn't, you know, hydrogen appears to have this anti-aging aspect to it. And anti-aging is going to be a good thing for things like that. And Terry C says, sorry, but you did say we can ask spiritual questions. Yeah, the rainbow in the hand thing. What time do you go to sleep? Usually I like to try to get to bed between 9 and 10. You know, the rainbow on the hand thing is probably, the reason that I stay away from it is because it could be construed as something very potentially egotistical, arrogant, and that's why I don't, that's why I don't even say it, you know. But it just has, I'll just say, you know what, this is what I can say. I'll say that apparently it has, I won't say exactly what the people who saw it and told me. It just has a lot to do with how much you care and how much you love in general. And love spreads to everything, spreads to how much you love other people, how much you care about other people, you know, how much you love yourself, how much you care for yourself, how much you care in general. Like when I have, if you notice, I don't like to waste anything because I'm thinking about the farmer who spent the effort to grow whatever it is, that food that they grew. But I'm also respecting myself by not just throwing food away, that I worked hard to gain the funds to buy the food. You know, all these things have to do with love, but those are just kind of some of the lower things. The spiritual things have a lot to do and everything to do with how deep your love runs. But I just don't usually go into that too much, depending on people's, you know, belief systems and things of that nature. So I don't know if that answers your question, Terry, in a very probably not super detailed manner. Carmen Maria Cortez Marin says, thank you. And Terry C says, thanks, Greg. But if you really want to know more, Terry, you can also, I guess you can email me or find me on Skype if for some reason you're just like, I gotta know. But if you're cool, then I'm cool. Okay, well guys, I think I should probably probably get rolling here, I think. Just gonna keep drinking my smoothie. I'm gonna keep inhale my hydrogen. Like I said, unless you have any last questions, but I'm pretty much, oh, there was another thumbs up. See, we still have over 20 people in here. Thanks for your time today, Greg says. Howie, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I thank you for your gratitude. I am grateful when others are grateful. I am grateful for, well, all these ingredients I was able to put in here. This wonderful hydrogen machine that's gave me the cleanest, best hydrogen in the world, basically. And basically even just having electricity, because that's how I clean my water. That's how I make these smoothies, you know, because who knows, one of these days all this could disappear. So being grateful for right now. All right, guys, anything else? Anybody? Oh, there was another thumbs up. See, we're almost at 20 and there's 20 people in here. There's got to be at least 3 people who haven't done a thumbs up. Come on. Can I use deionized water in the Lourdes? Deionized or ionized? Deionized water. It's kind of a, how are you making your deionized water? As long as the water is basically clean, yeah, it should be fine. You can put almost any kind of water into Lourdes other than ocean water, you know? So, yeah, I guess deionized water is the removal of ions, but I don't see why there should be an issue, in my personal opinion. What about ozone treatments? Your opinion, please. Yeah, the reason I like ozone is because ozone, it's oxygen, it's O3. And oxygen is really good at oxidizing things. So it's very good at killing things. So it could be potentially good at killing certain pathogens and whatnot. But I wouldn't do it too often. Oxygen is never something, it's very clear. I'm going to be doing a video about this soon with ChatGTP because it seems to understand this. Oxygen, I mean, we already breathe it in a lot. I mean, we're breathing roughly 20% oxygen on the regular. Now, what our job is to make our bodies run so correctly and efficiently that we can have proper oxygenation. A lot of people don't even know, you can read the data. Eating lots of fruits and vegetables, like let's see. I'm seeing if I can find a scientific study real quick. Because, okay. So things like beetroots, leafy vegetables, pomegranate, garlic, cabbage, cauliflower, sprouts. You know, a lot of these type of foods help actually oxygenate your blood. And a lot of it has to do with regulating your pH. And so most of the foods that help oxygenate your blood tend to be mostly fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. Let's see, and it's obviously important. I'm always talking about overcoming deficiencies. It's important that you have vitamin A, B2, B3, B5, you know, B12, minerals like iron, copper, stuff like this. Apparently, avocados are good for oxygenating the blood, pomegranates, kiwi, cantaloupe, mangoes, peaches. So that sounds like a lot of fruits. Pineapple, interesting. Berries, I always put the blueberries in there. Figs and dates, citrus fruits, beetroot, carrots. We put that in there in the smoothie every day. We put spinach in the smoothie basically every day. We put the beets, the carrots, the spinach, the blueberries, garlic, sweet potato, beans. We always put the natto. I know that natto has helped oxygenate cancer cells. Broccoli, lettuce, And then as far as foods that are rich in protein that can do that, mostly legumes, basically beans again, mushrooms. Meat has certain nutrients that can potentially help. Nuts, sunflower seeds, stuff like that. And so, yeah, you know, oxygenating the blood, I think ozone could be a good thing, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Mike says, it's from the RO machine at Whole Foods. Oh, yeah, you should be fine, Mike. You can definitely use that water. I mean, me personally, obviously I would want to get my own carbon distiller. It's going to be the cheapest way to go in the long term anyway. Within 6 months to a year, typically it pays itself off, and then you're just making super clean water. And there's so many uses for it. I'm always finding new uses. I bought a little sauna that requires like a steam sauna. It says only to use distilled, water, and I use that. Today, I have some colloidal silver. It was made with distilled water. There's so many uses for it. And then, of course, I drink it, blah, blah, blah. In reference to treating brain cancer, says Howie. Oh, I think for brain cancer, now look, that would be I have worked with people with brain cancer. First, you got to stop certain foods, specifically foods. Now, I'm not giving you medical advice, okay? This is very important because it really depends on the case-by-case basis. And have I worked with people? Yes. Have I had success? Yeah, well, I mean, I could tell you a story. I thought I did a video on it. There was a story about a woman who had a tumor this big. I mean, it was pushing up against her brain. Half her body wouldn't work. Doctor said it was impossible to shrink it anymore. In fact, they wanted to do all this chemo and everything just to keep it the same size because it was growing so fast. And she did follow my protocol. And I'm not kidding you, it didn't just shrink, it disappeared. And she was starting to walk like 1.5 miles a day, and she was doing really great. And then she backed off the protocol and actually stopped the protocol. And then the thing came back with a vengeance. And then they were debating whether they wanted to start the protocol again. And I try to tell people, you don't want to go off and on protocol. You want to just live a certain healthy life, and you're just gonna have to get used to it and just live a healthy life. You go back and forth. I don't personally think that's a good thing, but she never did go back on the protocol. They actually, I was a little surprised they didn't want to do it. And she just let the thing end her life. So that's what ended up happening. So anyway, but yes, what I would personally do, one, I would stop anything with that would affect your IGF-1, which is basically all meat, all eggs, all dairy, all seafood. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but you need to look at the evidence on IGF-1. It's like a growth hormone within those foods and how they affect the cancer spreading even more. And of course, processed sugars and all sorts of stuff. Wow, amazing. And amazing she didn't go back on the protocol. I was shocked. Her life totally changed. She was walking, everything was great. The doctors couldn't believe the results. And then she stopped. And she got lazy, of course, and then she started flying places and visiting family because she thought she's like, I thought I was gonna die, and now I'm not dead, and everything's great, and I can walk again, and yeah, anyway, yeah, it was too bad, definitely too bad. Okay, well, any other questions? Maybe it was her time to go. I don't personally think it was. She made a choice. Remember, the greatest gift, at least according to scriptures, says that God's greatest gift to humans was free will. That means we get to choose, right? At least that's what it seems like. Now, I'm not saying that, some things are probably just written in the stars or whatever. But yeah, who knows? Maybe she was just tired. I know that she didn't like living a healthy lifestyle. I know that. Mike says, just got the Hydrofix. Been eating clean for years. Should I start slow or the hydrogen, or could I floor it? I mean, if it was me, if I have healthy kidneys and everything, I'd probably watch my video 337. Watch that one. But I wouldn't be too afraid of it. Hydrogen is like, it's almost like water except cleaner. So, I wouldn't be scared of it. And, okay, guys, I think I'm gonna say goodbye. If you guys have any last questions, I'm gonna get rolling. Thanks for all the thumbs up. We almost reached 20. Almost. We made it to 19. And Mike, also watch the video 426 since you just got your Hydrofix. Super important to watch video 426 because, in my personal opinion, that video and video 337 really help to get the most out of it and to take care of the machine so that you don't have issues, so that it can last for years and years and years and years and years and make hydrogen for a very long time. And that's just, in my personal opinion, super important to getting the proper results. So yay, we reached 20 thumbs up, guys. All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you guys next time on the next one. Enjoy.